The first 2 hours of my hands-on time was spent on free play. I used a large chunk of this time to refamiliarize myself with the Tenkaichi style of gameplay by hitting up Sparking Zero's exhaustive tutorial mode, which covers all the many different mechanics present here. There are vanishing assaults, vanishing attacks, lightning attacks,
It's good, 9-12.
burst smashes, dragon smashes, high guards, low guards, high speed evasion counters, perception counters, super counters, Z counters,
Yeah, this shit about to be
and
pressure,
so on.
man.
It's a lot
Stay
to take in
tuned,
for
man.
sure,
I'm about to be
but
streaming
it all
this shit
serves to
too.
enhance the depth of the combat and
God,
most
I'm about to
importantly,
stream this
deliver
shit.
on the
Y'all
power
drop some
trip of
follows.
controlling
Y'all drop
some
some
of the
follows.
most powerful characters throughout all of anime. Sure, I might not need to know how to knock an enemy away,
What's up?
vanish behind them, drill them into the
Wanna sit with
ground,
me?
and then pick them up, swing them around, and
Wanna sit
hurl
with
them
me?
away like a rag doll. There are other simpler ways to get just as much damage, if not more, but doing
Yo,
stuff
y'all
like that
comment
feels
below if
so
y'all fuck with
incredibly
this,
cool.
man.
And to me, that's what the Tenkaichi
Y'all drop some
series
likes. Y'all
is
drop
all
some
about.
hearts if y'all want me to stream this once it come out.
Once I was back up to speed on the combat
Where'd you
and
want it?
mechanics, I decided to check out one of Sparking Zero's big new modes outside of its story mode, Custom Battles. It lets you create, share, and play out your own fantasy Dragon Ball fight scenarios, complete with options to create an intro cutscene, a title card, mid-match triggers, and outro cutscenes that cover what happens when you win
I am more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
and when you lose.
You knew you would lose, yet you still defied me.
There's even a Mario Maker style rule to it, where in order to share your custom battle with other players, you need to be able to prove that it's possible by beating it yourself. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to craft my own battle to the degree that I would have wanted, so I opted
Want some more
instead to
milk?
see what the mode was capable of by trying out some of the pre-made battles that were prepped by the developers. And to my delight, they were a lot of fun, with a great variety of different types of fights. Some were simply based around the idea of pitting certain
Get a-
characters
get a,
against each other,
get a paper
like
towel.
a battle of speed demons that had you controlling Birder as you faced off against Kakunsa and Hit.
Bye-bye, baby.
Another had you as Kid Goku going up against Master Roshi to relive one of their training sessions.
Oh,
And
yeah,
forcing
this
you to
pressure,
win fights
this is
specifically
pressure.
with whatever move Roshi calls out. My favorite, though, had me playing as a weak and underpowered Captain Ginyu against an appropriately overpowered Frieza. My only hope for victory was using Ginyu's ultimate technique,
shit is
the body
fire.
change beam, to swap bodies with
This shit
Frieza
is
and then
fire.
easily finish the fight.
You could
Easier
switch
said than done,
bodies.
as whenever I tried to power up to be able to use the move, Frieza would hit me with an instant kill death beam. So I had to engage Frieza in combat just enough to be able to charge my meter, knock him
Lila,
away,
you gotta
and then
talk to
use that
mommy.
time to charge up
Can't be
into
yelling
sparking
towards-
mode so that I could look for an opening to land the attack. It was a surprisingly tense and
Was
refreshingly
good, chat? Was
unique
good,
battle,
chats?
and a great showing of the potential that this mode has as a sandbox for creative players to come up with and share exciting fights that go far beyond the limits of Dragon Ball's canon.
Next episode.
After the time for free play was up, I got a chance to check out a handful of episode
Oh,
battles,
shit.
which collectively make
This
up
is
Sparking Zero's
fire.
story
This
mode.
is fire.
Dragon Ball's story has been told an ungodly number of
What?
times at this point, pretty much across all forms of media. But what makes Sparking Zero's interpretation especially cool
Yes,
is how it gives you multiple
sir.
opportunities
Ski.
to do things differently than how they're supposed to go. Right from the start of Goku's episode battle, when Raditz takes Gohan away and Goku and Piccolo give chase, you actually don't have to join forces with Piccolo. You're given the option to instead go it alone, and if you do that, then
Word.
you'll be joined by Krillin and fight Raditz in a battle with a completely different outcome.
Soon have you writhing
Word.
like the worms.
That's crazy.
That's not all either. Even if you decide to play it by the canon and team up with Piccolo, if you manage to defeat Raditz,
Oh, so
before
they could
Piccolo is
have
able
you
to
play
charge
like
his
two
attack,
different
you'll be met with
types
a
of
special,
story mode.
fully animated and voiced sparking episode
That's
that
different.
plays out this
Can't
what
go
if
underwater.
scenario of Goku surviving his encounter with Raditz, getting to train Gohan himself, and being there right when the Saiyans arrive on Earth. Producer Jun Furutani told me that when selecting the battles that
Word.
they wanted
They-
to highlight
this shit
in
is
episode
fire.
mode, they
Yo,
wanted to
I did
focus
not
on the
know you could
battles
do
that
all that.
highlighted the playable characters the best in the story, but they also wanted to put a focus on battles that could potentially lead to branching outcomes. I followed up and asked Furutani about how substantial these branches could be, to which he replied, "It's a really hard question to answer because depending on which branch we're talking about, it could skew in a very different direction. But some branches might just go back to the actual canonical
good,
route.
chat? T
For
Green was
example,
good, chat.
when you fight Raditz, there's some smaller branches that have been there, but it takes you back to the canonical route. And obviously after Raditz is Vegeta, and after Vegeta is
Thank
Frieza.
you, thank you,
Some of them
thank
are
you.
just blips. Some of them kind of take you in a very
'Cause
drastically
I was
different
about to mute
direction.
that. Just say that. You just
And while there are 8
Freeloading.
characters that make up Sparking Zero's
Freebasing
episode
with the
battle
yelling.
mode, they do seem to
Hey,
vary
damn.
wildly in terms of length. I played 30 minutes of Goku's and only got through the Saiyan Saga, 30 minutes of Frieza's and only got to the final battle against Super Saiyan Goku, and then 30 to 45 minutes of Future Trunks' story from Dragon Ball Super, and pretty
That's
much
crazy.
finished it all up right there.
That's fire. You could
Still,
some
I'm
play the
very
whole
much
30
looking
minutes
forward
and
to
still
diving
ain't
into all
even
these
get
at
to the
launch
fight.
and seeing
So
if
it's
I
like
can
you
find
got a
all
whole
the
journey
hidden
to
what
play
if
that
moments
too.
myself.
That's
It's
what's
worth
pressure.
mentioning too that they're not easy to trigger. The fights themselves are already pretty tough, and to try and accomplish specific added challenges on top of that makes it seem like these are meant to be rewards for the most dedicated of players.
That's
Doubly
fire.
so because you can't actually trigger these scenes if you lower the difficulty. Beyond the custom and episode battle modes, I also messed around with the tournament mode, which allows you to participate in one of many different
That's
types
fire.
of tournaments,
That's fire.
each with different rule sets. The Tournament of Power,
Banana
for example,
Man.
has you competing on the Tournament of Power stage with flight turned off and ringouts as an alternate win condition.
Banana
Cell
Man.
Games is a strictly 1 vs 1
It's
affair
good.
with no rules,
Good
but
chat.
you only regain 20% of your life between fights. And the Yamcha Games is straight up chaos with random rules and random character selection. You can also create your own tournament and customize
Let's
your
go,
very
let's
own
go.
set of rules as well. And then finally there's the Encyclopedia mode, which I got to exclusively check out
gnome.
for a few minutes.
Chain.
It's
How
a
you
returning
say your
feature
name?
from Tenkaichi 3,
How you
but
say
instead
your
of just
name,
having
gang?
Chi-Chi giving commentary on a character, this time you get Chi-Chi,
Viper.
Bulma, and Videl all gossiping about the
This
cast
is
and giving
fire,
their own
man.
little
This is so
insights.
fire, bro.
Oh, I kind of dig this.
No, it's not.
The little bits I got to listen to were all very
This is
amusing.
way better than
Like the girls
Hogwarts, chat.
commentating on how ugly Goku
Way better
becomes
than
when he
Hogwarts
transforms
Legacy,
into a
chat.
Super Saiyan 3 form,
Look how scary he is.
or how Garlic Jr. looks like a roided-out Emperor Pilaf. My relatively short time with Sparking Zero rekindled my love for the Budokai Tenkaichi games and was a much-needed reminder
pressure.
that arena fighters can
Good,
excite
gang,
and
it's
thrill
good.
just as much as traditional 2D and 3D fighters can.
Yo, let's go, my guy.
The attention to detail here is phenomenal. The combat definitely has a learning curve, but is packed full of depth that is very satisfying to learn and engage with.
Yeah,
And
we seeing
its
we
story
seeing what
looks
this
to
Dragon
provide
Ball
a ton
Sparking
of
Zero about,
flexibility
man.
in how it tells the tale of Dragon Ball.
I'm still far superior to you.
We'll see
that's
how its
fire.
final form turns out when Dragon Ball Sparking Zero releases next month on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. For more on Dragon Ball Sparking
crazy.
Zero, don't miss our exclusive Future Trunks episode gameplay, as well as our first
Yo, comment below, man, if y'all gonna play this, man. Comment below if y'all gonna play this shit, man. This shit is pressure. What? You eat? Comment below if y'all gonna fuck with that, man. That shit crank.